Our next guest is Terry Russell. He's running for the Monomoy Regional School Board. Whoops, excuse me, School Board. And it's nice to see you again, Terry. We've met this way about 3 years ago, I think.
We have.
Right, and I'm hopeful that we'll start out by you talking a little bit about why you're running.
Thanks, Chris. And speaking of thank you, I'd like to thank the folks that supported and voted for me as a member of the school committee for the past 10 years. Chris, my simple answer to that, I think I'm very invested, not only in the Monomoy regional school system, but also in Harwich. My children went through the Harwich school system very successfully. I have grandchildren in the Monomoy system now. And in addition to that, I just have been thrilled to be part of this 10-year growth of moving from a local township and bringing in the partner of Chatham and making what I see growing a quality school system. We've increased the AP programs and rigor of the kids who are challenged, and our increase in all sorts of activities have just made it a good place to come to school. The second and third slot I want to mention is we, as we all know, have come through a tremendous pandemic year and experience that's a once in a lifetime. And it really has impacted the schools, that almost 2,000 kids that have had to make an adjustment of being on virtual classes or coming in every 2 or 3 days. It's been a challenge to them. I'd like to see this next 3 years, starting this coming September, back to what we call a new normal. They deserve it. The staff certainly does because they've had to adjust on the run, and also the moms and dads. So hopefully better times are coming. And the last challenge I see, Chris, is after 10 years of this partnership, we're seeing a dramatic drop in youngsters in the Chatham Elementary School system. I should say just in the Chatham Elementary Schools. And both the town of Harwich and Chatham are addressing that now as to how best to make certain that school is viable and balanced, and at the same time that there's a parity and fairness amongst not only specifically the taxpayers here in Harwich, as we support not only our town's two schools, but also the Chatham Elementary program. So I think, in a nutshell, that's why I'm energized and look forward to hopefully rejoining the school committee and lending my ideas into policy to make what we see as a quality school even better.
That's wonderful. Now, what would you describe for our voters your past experience and how that helps you on the school board?
Well, I guess at the moment I'm the oldest member of the school committee, and I come with it with a certain experience that grew out of my youth. For 40 years, I was in education in the town of Barnstable, 25 of those years as a middle school and a very large school principal. So it comes naturally to me when I retired that I had something to give back to specifically the town of Harwich and Chatham. So with that experience, I think I'm able to bring a certain, not only passion, but a certain insight into what does quality and challenge mean to kindergartners right through grade 12? And what does transparency mean to moms and dads who are trying to make a living and at the same time be trusting and supportive of their kids in school? So, and lastly, I've worked with staff and for staff for 40 years. So I hopefully can bring a certain fairness and balance to how we continue to work to make this one of the best schools on the Cape.
Very nice. And any one thing you want to focus on, one particular amongst many, in the next term on the school board?
Well, I probably quickly repeating myself, I think the board as well as our superintendents in leadership team, we need to make certain this transition away from the pandemic and back to a normal school system on all four schools is done at the highest of quality. And I have high hopes because I'm pleased to work with our present superintendent. I think he has done a terrific job keeping the vast majority of the kids in a school program starting early in this crisis, and I think it'll all pay off. So I think it's going to take all of next year to make certain we're back to where we were.
Thank you. Terry, you're running unopposed, and your name will show up on that ballot how? we
Well,
think. Because
hopefully,
no one knows you as Robert.
that is true. I was born a Robert, but the only benefit to that, I've never used the name, but when a cold call comes to my home, either my wife and he answers or I would, and they say, "Is Robert home?" I know it's a cold call salesman. So I have gone by the name of Terry since I was a youngster. So I think it's going to be in the ballot as Robert Terry Russell.
Wonderful. And we're voting on the 18th of this month, polls from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I thank you very much, Terry.
Well, Chris, I thank you for the invitation and stay safe, everybody, and see you at the polls.
Great.